Hold up. Are you spiraling into overthinking again? Let's stop kidding ourselves for a second. Have you ever woken up after a full 9 hours of sleep, yet your body feels as heavy as if you've been carrying boulders all night long? You look at your glowing phone screen, see a text message from that one person who always completely drains your energy, and you just swipe. You delete it. You don't even open it. Society loves to call you the strong one. They see the rock. The person who never breaks down, never needs help, and somehow handles every single crisis perfectly. But the exhausting reality is you are a deeply drained individual. You are terrified of dropping the ball because deep down, you secretly believe your worth is entirely dependent on being useful. People look at your boundaries and call you a lone wolf. They think you don't care about others, that you are detached or emotionally unavailable. But the exhausting reality is that your nervous system is so easily overwhelmed by emotional intimacy that isolation is your only way to find peace. You care too much, so you shut down just to survive. They see the high achiever, the golden child, the one who has their life perfectly put together. But you and I both know the truth. You are running on the pure, unfiltered fuel of anxiety. You are not chasing success. You are running away from the deep-seated fear of being ordinary, unloved, or abandoned. And sometimes they see the chill friend, the person with no drama who just goes with the flow and never complains. But the reality is, you have completely abandoned your own boundaries and swallowed your own needs to ensure you are never a burden to anyone else. You are highly functional. You hold down your job, you pay your bills, and you take care of everyone around you. You do not look like you are struggling, but behind closed doors, you are a deeply exhausted high masker. You suffer from chronic overthinking, perfectionism, and a hidden, terrifying fear of being either too much or not enough. You feel profoundly lonely, even in a crowded room or lying next to someone in bed, because nobody knows the real you. Only the curated, highly managed version you present to stay safe. I see how heavy that is. You can put it down now. You are safe here. You are exhausted, not because you are lazy, but because you are running a third shift, a cruel, invisible third shift of cognitive labor. You are constantly pre-processing everything. You predict what will make your partner mad tomorrow. You anticipate what your child will need before they even ask. You foresee exactly which process at work will collapse if you don't step in and fix it right now. You are not just living your life. You are constantly running background simulations to manage the risks for everyone around you. Psychology calls this attentional residue. When you have to constantly switch between your own life and managing the hidden crises of others, your attention never truly leaves the problem. The machine of your mind is always running in the background, leaving a thick layer of residue that completely drains your cognitive bandwidth. And the cruelest part of this invisible labor, no one ever sees it. Because you stopped the crisis before it even happened, there is no physical evidence of your hard work. No one says thank you. You don't get a trophy for the disaster that didn't happen. It just runs continuously, slowly eroding your nervous system. You are collapsing from the inside out, not because you are weak, but because your system has run out of resources from carrying the weight of a world that isn't even yours. Let's talk about the polyvagal theory. Your nervous system is not broken. It is a brilliant adaptation. If you grew up in a chaotic or unpredictable environment, your nervous system is stuck in survival mode. Your brain is constantly scanning the room for threats. You cannot simply relax or think positive because your biology is actively screaming that you are in danger. This shows up in your everyday adult life as the 4 F survival responses. Maybe you are the fighter. Society calls you a control freak, but in reality, you are just deeply terrified of uncertainty. Your nervous system says, if I control everything and everyone around me, I won't get hurt. If you control the environment, you prevent the trauma of being caught off guard ever again. Or maybe you are the runner, the flight response. This looks like workaholism, chronic business, overscheduling yourself, and running away from real intimacy. Your nervous system says, if I keep moving, if I stay busy enough, the pain can't catch up to me. Then there is the freeze response, the paralyzed. Society loves to call this lazy or unmotivated. It actually looks like procrastination, doom scrolling for hours, dissociation, chronic fatigue, and isolating in your bed. But you are not lazy. You are a frozen, overwhelmed nervous system that is completely exhausted from carrying emotional weight. Your nervous system is overwhelmed and literally shuts down your body to conserve energy. It says it's too much. Just play dead to survive. And finally, the fawn response, the pleaser. Society calls you a people pleaser or says you are weak. But in reality, you are a highly attuned individual who has learned that your safety depends on managing the volatile moods of adults around you. Your nervous system says, if I make the threat happy, they won't attack me. I will abandon myself to keep you around. Every single one of these behaviors is just an echo of an unhealed child trying to feel safe. Let's look at the unseen child wound. You were the kid who was ignored or only praised for your achievements, never for who you inherently were. So in adulthood, you became a chronic overachiever and a perfectionist. You believed, I must be perfect to be loved. My worth is tied to my output. Or maybe you carry the parentified child wound. You had to grow up entirely too fast to take care of emotionally immature or physically absent parents. Now, you are fiercely hyper-independent. You are physically unable to ask for help, and you chronically fix everyone else's problems. You believe, I am only valuable if I am useful. Relying on others is dangerous. Or perhaps it is the criticized child wound. You spent your childhood walking on eggshells around unpredictable, angry, or hypercritical parents. So you became an overthinker. You believe, if I make everyone else happy and just stay quiet, I will be safe. You are the Atlas child. You are holding up the sky so that it doesn't crush the people you loved, but absolutely no one asks how your shoulders are doing. You fix everyone else's problems, but you are suffocating in silence because you cannot ask for help yourself. You are not just in the room, you are the thermostat. You constantly read the temperature of everyone's mood and adjust yourself to keep the room from catching fire. It is an exhausting reality, constantly monitoring others just to avoid conflict or anger. And inside, you are a haunted house. You locked all those painful memories deep in the basement, but the ghost still lives inside your nervous system, rattling the pipes every single time someone gets too close. That is why you react so strongly to small things. It's not about the present moment, it's an echo from the past. You've spent so long acting like a chameleon, blending into the colors of what other people need you to be, that when you look in the mirror, you don't even know your own original color anymore. The deep emptiness and the identity crisis you feel, it is completely valid. It makes complete sense. You are not deeply flawed. You are simply exhausted. The armor you built to survive the battlefield of your childhood is now weighing you down in peacetime. The defense mechanisms that kept you safe are now the exact things keeping you utterly isolated. So, how do we weaponize this? How do we shift the paradigm? It is time to stop playing defense. Instead of viewing relationships purely through the lens of emotion, I want you to start viewing them as economics. The economy of provocation, your emotional energy, your empathy, your time, these are highly valuable currencies. Stop handing out your currency for free to people who throw stones and hide their hands. When someone tries to manipulate you or trigger you or drain you, do not give them the satisfaction of your anger. Instead, look at them with clinical pity. Observe them like a scientist observing a deeply flawed experiment. You don't need to fix them. You don't need to manage their emotions. You just need to observe, protect your peace, and walk away. Your silence is not you running away. Your silence is a fortress. It is a heavily guarded sanctuary where their chaos is simply not allowed to enter. When you stop reacting, you stop feeding their ego. You become a void of reactivity. You don't need to prove anything to anyone anymore. You don't need to explain your boundaries. You become an entity that cannot be mapped and therefore cannot be manipulated. You are not just calm, you are free. You are untouchable. You can finally soften. You can lower the drawbridge for the very few who actually deserve to step inside your walls. It is time to let the heavy armor fall to the ground. If this audio explained the invisible weight you have been carrying entirely alone your whole life, hit subscribe. Not everyone has the depth or the capacity to understand this level of psychological truth, but you do. I'll see you in the next one.